What do Cybertrucks, cybercafes, and cybernetics have in common? They might all have roots in a place called Cybertown, or so the legend goes. By the late 1990s, the internet was kicking off a new era of connection, transforming the way people built communities online. One of the earliest and most fascinating examples of this was Cybertown, launched in 1995 and created by a user named Hawk and his colleague SFX. By 1999, it had evolved into something even bigger, an online space that would become a beloved corner of the internet for many. But as Cybertown grew, so did the challenges. Corporate greed, mismanagement, and fierce competition would eventually bring this digital utopia to its knees. This is the rise and fall of Cybertown. In the 1990s, long before the advent of social media as we know it, Hawk, aka Tony Rockcliffe, pioneered Cybertown, a groundbreaking, family-friendly online community. His goal? To create the metaverse, envisioned by Neal Stephenson's Snow Crash. Stevenson's novel introduced the idea of the metaverse, a vast digital world where people exist as avatars. This virtual society mirrored reality, the space adorned with booming real estate, high-priced ad spaces, and businesses thriving in digital storefronts. Early adopters of this virtual land made fortunes by leasing space, running businesses, and creating entertainment hubs, turning the metaverse into more than just a fantasy. It's an economy, a culture, and for many, Stephenson's vision would become a second home. Tony took the idea and ran with it. His innovative platform would bring together individuals from 155 countries in a 3D virtual reality metaverse, designed as a futuristic town, set approximately 100 years ahead of its time. The platform as we know it today initially began as two projects. The first, by Tony, Cybertown, a single-user 3D VR that created a virtual space interfacing with a 2D menu system and chat. The second was formed under a different name, Colony City. It started as a demo project by Black Sun, built using VRML, or Virtual Reality Modeling Language. This cutting-edge technology allowed users to see and interact with each other in the virtual 3D landscape. With Black Sun Interactive being the pioneers of VRML and Tony Rockcliffe creating his series of single-player spaces, the two decided to merge in the late 1990s, fusing the two concepts and creating what we know today as Cybertown. In this vibrant virtual model, players could design unique items in VRML and sell them in the game's mall. These creations could then be displayed in their virtual homes, adding a personal touch to their spaces. This technology made the platform feel like a futuristic metropolis where creativity and connection thrived and people could socialize in the 3D environment. And to the players, it felt face to face. Tony noted in an interview with Canvas Rebel, "Somewhere in 1996 or 1997, either we found a company in Germany called Black Sun, or they found us. We had become quite popular by then, and we were starting to win multiple awards. They had developed a multi-user VR community engine, and it was just what we were looking for. Unfortunately, it cost $250,000. I suggested to their CEO, Franz Buchenberger, that perhaps we could do a partnership, where we became the showcase for their technology, as we had a lot of traffic and eyeballs, and they had the technology that we needed to really successfully implement community-based 3D VR into Cybertown. Fortunately, Franz could see the potential, so SFX and I went to Munich to meet with his team. Now we had a budget, and we got to hire a couple of local VR artists, and I got to run a large team of German programmers. And in mid-1998, we were ready to launch Cybertown as a fully functioning 3D VR multi-user community. We also had a promotional budget, so we did things like create huge multicolored multi-page press packs with photographs of Cybertown, its awards and testimonials, and sent them to editors of numerous technology and web magazines. This resulted in a ton of press for Cybertown, which also led to TV shows around the world. We also did full-page ads in sci-fi magazines and even advertised our Escape Earth campaign in movie theaters, and many other things, including creating Cybertown-based mugs and business card-sized Cybertown DVDs. All of this went great, but suddenly we had a rapidly growing community, and I had to learn how to manage hundreds of thousands of people in 160 countries in all time zones. Back then, there were no books or internet papers on how to run an online community, and I had to learn the hard way. Trial by fire.
Visit cybertown.com today. Well, maybe not anymore, but back in the 90s, yeah.
What set Cybertown apart was its intricate social structure, which mimicked real-world communities. Cybertown wasn't just a chat room or a basic online forum. It was an interactive society with roles and responsibilities. Mayors oversaw the entire community. Deputy mayors handled day-to-day operations. Security officers kept troublemakers at bay. Colony leaders managed neighborhoods, ensuring they thrived. But it didn't stop there. Each colony had staff members who kept the community running. They handled tasks like hiring local moderators, maintaining message boards, and training new members. Cybertown didn't just simulate life. It created a virtual space where people could live, work, and collaborate, embodying the dream of a digital society. Cybertown allowed its residents to experience what it was like to run a city, or at least a colony. Whether you were training as a staff member or helping manage your neighborhood, the possibilities were as immersive as they were engaging. Cybertown was one of the absolute earliest widely accessible 3D virtual social worlds, with roughly 1.3 million members and generating an impressive 1.5 billion annual visits. The platform was a trailblazer to its community and to the wider internet. And though maybe not explicitly attributed, it isn't hard to assume that this cyberspace was the inspiration to cult classic internet hangout spaces, browser-based games, and massive multiplayer online experiences. Everything about Cybertown seemed to be going great, with the success of the platform bearing fruit. So much so that it attracted high-profile partnerships with organizations such as USA Network's Sci-Fi Channel, Sony Interactive, Intel, Hallmark Entertainment, SETI, Centropolis Entertainment, Warner Brothers, and Star Trek. At its peak, Cybertown was expanding at an extraordinary rate of 400% annually, but nothing lasts forever. After a few years of great success, it was time for Cybertown to evolve. Throughout the years of Cybertown's life, Rockcliffe had been covering the cost of the platform, and supporting the Black Sun platform with its technological complexities had been proven extremely expensive to maintain. A separate division of Black Sun, unrelated to Tony and Cybertown, had bankrupted the company. The only way to save Cybertown was to persuade Black Sun to sell the IP. In 2002, Rockcliffe decided to set his sights on a deal to sell Cybertown to Integrated Virtual Networks, or IVN, who would handle the project through to the end of its life. As the new owners of Cybertown, IVN would soon run into some obstacles in attempting to keep Cybertown alive. IVN found a technical hiccup as a major issue with updating the contents of Cybertown. Scott99, project manager of CTR and Cybertown veteran, detailed this technical error in an interview, stating, "Black Sun wrote their platform to be customized to the hardware of the server hosting it. I assumed this was to avoid people pirating the platform and creating their own site without paying. So if the hardware changed, the code would need to be updated to allow it to work. Black Sun was no longer a company, so there was no one available to update the code when the new owner of Cybertown updated their servers a few years after taking ownership. IVN would also make some decisions that ultimately, as the community describes it, proved to be fatal to their interests in Cybertown as a platform. After the acquisition of Cybertown in 2002, IVN decided to switch from a free-to-play model to a paid subscription service. This meant that the thousands of players that frequented Cybertown for free would now have to pay to access Cybertown and its features." Rockcliffe noted, "They listened to the advice of a wet-behind-the-ears marketing girl who told them they had to go paid. I objected, loudly, and continued to spend years from then on writing reams of documents, white papers, etc., in support of maintaining the free version, but they just wouldn't listen. There's not much more information on the state of Cybertown after IVN's acquisition, but it's safe to say that with the growth of the new 3D online worlds at the time, IVN's technical issues with Black Sun servers, and the pay-to-play model change created the formula for Cybertown to lose grasp of its superiority as one of the premier online 3D virtual social experiences. And by 2012, Cybertown had officially become defunct. Hey everyone, this is Centurion. I hope you enjoyed our first video essay over Cybertown. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and let us know down in the comments. This project was made with the help of many parties, all of them with a passion for Cybertown, and if you're interested, there's a Cybertown revival project that's completely community driven, separate from the official installment that we covered in this video. Lots of great friendly people over there. Link to their sites in the description below, so go give them a visit, and thank you so much for watching.
Hey guys. It's Reagan, editor, and thank you for watching. Appreciate it a lot. If you're listening to this right now, you the GOAT. You the GOAT! Thank you for watching.